What if the reason he keeps going back to her isn't about love? What if it's about comfort, about habit, about how she makes him feel, even if deep down he knows she isn't the one? That stings, doesn't it? Watching him choose her again and again, while you're left wondering why you weren't enough. You gave him your heart, you showed up, you were real, but still, he turns to her, and every time he does, it feels like another cut, another reminder that maybe you're too much, or maybe not enough. You replay the moments in your mind, trying to find the missing piece. But the truth? It's not about being better than her. It's about becoming something he can't turn away from, even if he tried. Seneca once said, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." And that's exactly what's happening. You're suffering before your time. You're blaming yourself. But don't. Because this isn't the end. This is where everything starts to change. This is where you stop asking why he keeps going back to her and start becoming the woman he'll never leave again. You see, right now, she gives him something that feels easy. Maybe she strokes his ego. Maybe she doesn't ask for much. Maybe she lets him stay small. But love isn't supposed to make a man small. Real love stretches him, challenges him. Real love brings out the king in him, but he has to be ready for that kind of love. And some men, they run from it, not because you're too much, but because you reflect the parts of him he hasn't grown into yet. Imagine a fire. One burns hot, wild, unstoppable. The other, a weak flicker, soft and easy to sit beside. Most people will pick the smaller flame first because it feels safer. But the fire that truly warms, the one that lasts through storms, takes time to build. You are that fire. And when he stops chasing sparks and starts craving heat, he'll remember where the real warmth was. But you are not just waiting anymore. You are no longer sitting in silence, hoping he chooses you next. You are rising, not to chase, but to reign. Because, dear woman, the truth is, you were never meant to be a backup plan. You were always the throne. And now it's time to live like it. If these words touched something deep inside you, if they reminded you of the strength you've been carrying all along, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, pouring our hearts into every message, working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the power you deserve, because you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to rise. 1. He doesn't fear losing her, but he fears becoming a man worthy of you. Why does he keep choosing her over and over, even when you gave him more, loved him deeper, and stood by him longer? Why does he keep coming back to her, but not you? The truth is painful, but it's also powerful. It's not because she's better. It's not because you lack something. It's because he doesn't fear losing her. But he fears becoming the man he would need to be to deserve you. And sometimes fear wins over desire. He runs back to what feels easy, because standing beside you would require him to rise. Right now, he may seem like he's moved on, like he's happy, like he made the right choice. But deep inside, he knows. He knows she lets him stay the same. She lets him feel like a man without asking him to be one. But you asked for honesty. You asked for effort. You held him to a higher standard. And that scared him. Not because you asked too much, but because he knows he wasn't ready to give enough. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." But not every man is brave enough to look at himself in the mirror and face who he needs to become. So instead, he hides in comfort. He hides in her. But comfort never creates kings, and it never keeps queens. Think of a sword, A real one, strong, sharp, forged in fire. It takes pressure, it takes heat, it takes time. That's you. You are not fast love. You are not soft lies. You are truth. You are transformation. And not every man is ready to be refined by fire. He may keep choosing the dull blade because it's easier to carry, but one day he'll need real strength. And when that day comes, he'll remember you. Not just your love, but the woman who required him to rise. But you are not waiting. You are not breaking yourself to fit inside a story that wasn't written for a woman like you. You are rising, step by step, moment by moment, into a life where your power no longer needs permission. Dear woman, this is not the end. This is the start of your empire. Let him go if he fears your fire. You are not too much. You are just not meant for smallness. Affirm this truth right now. I don't shrink for love. I rise for it. Queens, write it in the comments and claim it with your whole heart. And if this message stirred something inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the strength you deserve, because your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Number 2. She strokes his ego. You stared into his soul. Why does he keep going back to her, even when you know deep in your soul she is not the one who truly sees him? Why does he choose the comfort of shallow praise over the fire of real connection? It's not because she is better. It's because she strokes his ego while you stared into his soul, and not every man is ready to be seen that deeply. He wants the praise without the pressure. He wants to feel like a king without having to earn the crown. And so he chooses the easy reflection instead of the honest mirror. That doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means you were real, and real love requires growth, effort, truth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them knows the truth about you." And you, dear woman, knew the truth about him. You saw beyond his words, beyond the charm, beyond the smile. You saw the man he could be. She sees what he pretends to be, and that's safer for him, because ego wants comfort, but the soul craves truth. And when you touched the truth in him, it scared him. So he ran toward comfort, not because it's better, but because it's easier. Think of a mirror that shows your reflection under perfect lighting. No flaws, no shadows, just a smooth, pleasing image. That's what she offers him. Now imagine a mirror that shows everything, every scar, every line, every piece he hasn't faced yet. That was you. You didn't flatter his image, you challenged him to rise, and not every man is built to rise. Some are built to run, but let him run, because one day he will look into her eyes and feel nothing but surface. He will crave the depth he once feared. He will search for the gaze that didn't just admire him, but understood him. And he'll remember the one woman who saw everything and still stayed soft. But you're not chasing anymore. You're not shrinking just to make a man feel taller, because you are not here to feed his ego. You are here to build your empire. You are not just a woman. You are a force, a fire, a soul too deep for the shallow. You are rising, not to win him back, but to reign in a life where you never again beg to be chosen. Write this in the comments and claim it. I touched his soul, but I was never meant to shrink for his ego. Say it loud, queens. Say it proud. We are here, working day and night to bring you these life-changing lessons, because you weren't meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 3. He chose the shortcut, not the journey. Why do some men always choose the easy road, even when they know it leads nowhere? Why does he keep returning to her, even when his heart once beat for you? The truth is simple and heavy. He chose the shortcut, not the journey. He chose what came with less effort, less growth, less risk. Because being with her meant staying the same. Being with you would have meant becoming more. Right now, he's stuck in a loop, a cycle where he keeps returning to the same comfort, the same patterns. He's not chasing love, he's avoiding growth. Because real love doesn't come easy. Real love challenges. Real love exposes. And you, beautiful woman, are not a shortcut. You are the full journey, the kind that tests a man's soul, the kind that requires work, consistency, depth. But he wasn't ready to walk that road. Not yet. Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." And that's exactly what he ran from. The courage it would have taken to love you right. The patience it would have taken to grow beside you. She didn't require that. She let him stay small. But you would have made him rise. That scared him. Imagine two mountains. One is low, familiar, easy to climb. The other, high, demanding, breathtaking. He picked the smaller one because he didn't think he could reach the top of yours. But one day, when he sees the view he missed, he'll regret never trying. He didn't choose her because she's more. He chose her because you require more. And you're not the woman who waits at the starting line. You are not a stop on the way. You are the destination. You are the woman who was never meant to be a shortcut in someone's story. You are the story. So now is your moment, not to prove your worth to him, but to walk your own path. Bold, unstoppable, radiant. This is where the real journey begins. And queens, I want you to write this in the comments and claim it. I am not the shortcut. I am the journey. Let it be a reminder that you were never meant to be easy. You were meant to be unforgettable. Because we're here creating these lessons with everything we've got, for you, for your rise, for the queen you were always meant to be. Number 4, you held up a mirror. She gave him a mask. Why does he keep choosing her? Why does he run back to her arms while leaving you with questions, silence, and pain? It's not always because she's better. Sometimes it's because she lets him hide. She gives him a mask to wear, a soft disguise that keeps his flaws unseen and his fears untouched. But you held up a mirror. You reflected his truth, his potential, his broken pieces all at once. And that terrified him, because looking into your love meant facing himself. And not every man is ready for that. He doesn't go back because she's the one. He goes back because she doesn't make him grow. With her, he can pretend. With you, he can't. You made him feel seen, not just admired. And while every man wants to be desired, not every man is strong enough to be truly known. He ran because your presence was too real. You didn't just love who he was, you loved who he could become. And that's the kind of love that asks for change. She lets him stay small. You asked him to rise. There's a reason people avoid mirrors when they're not ready to heal. A mirror doesn't lie. A mirror tells the truth. And in relationships, the woman who sees a man fully, who holds him accountable, who expects presence, loyalty, and depth, that woman becomes unforgettable, but also intimidating. You weren't too much. You were just too real for the man he is right now. Rumi once said, "The wound is where the light enters you. You were the light." But he chose the darkness because it asked nothing of him. Like a traveler standing before a mountain, he turned away, not because the path was wrong, but because the climb was too steep. But what he doesn't know is that the view from the top would have been worth everything. Dear woman, you are not too honest, too deep, too strong. You are simply the mirror that reflects truth. And truth? Truth doesn't chase, it reigns. Write this affirmation in the comments, queens. I am the mirror he feared, but the reflection he'll never forget. Let this be your power. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to be hidden behind masks. You were meant to shine in truth and reign without apology. Number 5, he misses you, but she's easier to reach. Why does he keep saying he's confused, yet always ends up back in her arms? Why does he keep reaching out to you, only to pull away when it starts to feel real? The answer is hard, but it's honest. He misses you, but she's easier to reach, easier to understand, easier to handle, not better, not deeper, just easier. And sometimes a man who hasn't grown into the love he truly needs will choose ease over truth every time. He knows what he had with you. He remembers the way you loved him. He still hears your voice in the quiet moments. But when the feelings get too loud, when the reflection in your eyes shows him a version of himself he's not ready to face, he pulls away. He runs back to comfort. He runs back to easy. And that's not because he loves her more. It's because he doesn't have to rise to love her. Not like he would have to rise for you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Right now, his thoughts are filled with fear. Fear of effort. Fear of being exposed. Fear of being seen for who he truly is. And with you, there was nowhere to hide. That's why he runs. Because the love you gave didn't let him stay small. Imagine a staircase that leads to something beautiful, high above the ground, with sunlight pouring through. That staircase is you, but it's steep, it's real, it takes strength to climb. She's the doorway on the ground floor, open, easy, no effort required. So he keeps choosing the shortcut, even though he knows the view from the top could have been everything. And one day he'll look up and wonder what would have happened if he had just dared to climb. But you're not here to wait. You're not here to be the safe place he returns to when it's convenient, because you were never meant to be reached easily. You are the mountain, not the path, the flame, not the flicker. You are not made to be his backup plan. And now, beautiful woman, it's time. Time to stop standing at the bottom, hoping he'll see your worth. It's time to rise, not for him, but for you. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am not easy to reach, because I was never meant to be ordinary. Let it echo through your heart until you believe it. We are here creating lessons that remind you of who you are and help you rise into the woman he'll never again be strong enough to walk away from. Number 6. You're the flame that could burn. She's the ember that fades. Have you ever seen a man chase a flicker while ignoring a wildfire? It doesn't make sense at first. You gave him everything. You were the heat, the light, the passion, but he still kept turning back to her. Someone who barely even glows. Someone who only gives enough warmth to stop him from freezing, but never enough to set his soul on fire. It hurts, doesn't it? Knowing you had the kind of love that could have changed his life, but he chose what was easier to handle. Not better, just easier. He keeps coming back to her not because she's more, because she's less demanding, less powerful, less real. With her, he doesn't have to grow. With you, he would have to rise into a man he's not ready to be. And so he settles. He settles for her embers, because your flames scare him. But fire, real fire, is not meant to be tamed. It's meant to be honored. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests the strong. You are that gold, you are the fire." But he chose the shadow of warmth over the real thing, because it's easy to sit beside a small flame. It doesn't ask for much. But your fire, it lit up everything he was afraid to face. It showed him who he could be if only he had the strength. But he didn't. Not yet. Imagine a stormy night. A man sits by a candle, safe, soft, unbothered. But he keeps glancing out the window where a wildfire burns in the distance. That's you. He can't stop thinking about you, even when he's trying to convince himself he's at peace. But candles go out, and one day, when the darkness creeps in again, he'll remember the warmth he walked away from. But by then, you won't be waiting, because fire that's been ignored long enough learns to burn for itself. You are not weak for loving deeply. You are not wrong for being powerful. Beautiful woman, your fire was never the problem. It was the proof of your worth. You are not forgotten. You are becoming unstoppable. And now it's your time to rise. Not to be chosen, but to reign. Write this in the comments, queens, and let it become your truth. I am the fire he couldn't handle. We are here, creating these life-changing lessons with everything we've got, because you were never meant to be small. You were meant to set the world on fire. Number 7. He's not coming back to her. He's running from himself. Why does he keep going back to her, even when deep down he knows she isn't the one? What if the truth is this? He's not returning to her because she's better. He's not choosing her because he's truly in love. He's going back because it's easier than facing himself. Facing you means facing the parts of him he's not ready to fix. And that's what hurts the most. You didn't lose to her. He's just running from the mirror you held up. And queens, that mirror was never broken. It was just too honest. He keeps her close because she lets him hide. She doesn't ask him to grow. She doesn't make him uncomfortable. But you see through him. You see his wounds, his flaws, his buried dreams. And sometimes a man would rather stay in a shallow pool than dive into an ocean that reflects every part of him. Not because the ocean isn't beautiful, but because it demands courage to swim. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That is what he's avoiding, mastering himself. So he runs to what feels safe, even when it's empty. You remind him of the man he could be. She lets him stay the man he is. That's why he keeps going back. Not because you weren't enough, but because you were too real for a man still hiding from himself. Think of a cracked vase. You tried to pour your love into him, but it leaked through the places he refused to repair. He keeps filling himself with what's temporary, with what distracts him. But one day he will feel that emptiness again. And when that day comes, he'll remember the woman who saw his brokenness and still offered him love that asked for more. But beautiful woman, you are not meant to wait in the shadows. You are not the pause in his story. You are the chapter he wasn't ready for. And now you rise. You rise not for his return, but for your own reign. Because you were never here to chase a man running from himself. You were always here to become the kind of woman who no longer watches him leave. Write this in the comments and claim it. He's not running to her. He's running from who he becomes with me. Queens, let this be your reminder. Your power never left. You were just saving it for the right time. If this truth lit a fire inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you the lessons, the strength, and the healing you've always deserved. Because this is more than a heartbreak. This is the beginning of your empire.